What advice do you have for the new generation of people coming into the action film industry?
Very good, very good, very good question. So some may not like what I say, some may like what I say. I'll just say it. I've always been brutally honest that way. I think a lot of young talent these days, they want the glory, but they don't want to put the work in. And I think that if they work on like a Gotham, or if they work on, this other big show and this Marvel film here, I think they feel like because they say they're a part of that, the stunt crew, that puts them at a certain level. And I think that, you're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself because by you being a stunt person in this film, you're not going to stand out against $110 million film with A-list actors making 30-40 million dollars paychecks. I don't care what you did in it. You're not going to stand out. So the only thing that's going to, you got to say, hey, look at me. I was in. But that's, to me, that's the wrong thing. I'll say this. I'm SAG when I pay my dues. You know what I mean? But what I've accomplished in life was not through SAG. Sometimes you don't have to depend on the system to get you where you need to do. You just have to dig deep, be creative, think outside of the box, and make your mark. So a lot of times when they call and they'll say, well, are you SAG or not? I'd say, well, I pay my dues. If I don't pay my dues, then whatever, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times I don't want to pay my dues because there might be some projects that I don't want to be beholden to the union for and those rules. So I'll let it lapse. Okay, I do what I do, you know what I mean? But that's just me because I don't want the system to be able to dictate to me what I can do. I was self-made up until Made in Chinatown. I've gotten this far, 25 years, a name without ever joining SAG. How I joined SAG was I wrote myself a role into Made in Chinatown, and I did a speaking role, and there you go. I got myself in. But again, did I need that? No, that was just a sense of accomplishment for me to say, okay, I did it. Whatever. You know what I mean? But I did it. But I didn't need it to get where I'm at. I just think that a lot of actors don't need to just like latch on to saying, I was in Marvel. I think you need to go out there and find the most creative way in which to show your skill set, be it on a Marvel, be it on an Andy Lee or Joey Man or John Choi level. Those guys are talented, bro. Like they're really talented. They just need the opportunity. Um, so that's the only thing I say. Now I'm working with some guys, they are SAG, but a lot of times when I call them, they say FSAG. I'm on board simply behind just you and the creative way and what we're going to do and this and that. Because another thing is, although you may say certain films are independent and they don't, like, they're not out there in the mainstream, what they can offer you is a good scene, a good body of work. Whereas if you want to go and get those jobs, hey, look at this fight scene, and now here you did this little small fight scene, like my nephew Terrell Cota Bullock, you know what I mean? This little fight scene, and now somebody didn't seen that little fight scene, and now look at you. You're on Zodiac, you're on Warrior, you're this guy, you're talking about the second coming, so don't look down on those independent films simply behind the fact that they have no budget and like they have nothing to offer you. What they cannot, and I'll tell people in a minute, I have a small budget. I can transport you, I can feed you, but what I can promise you is that if I'm gonna use you, I'm gonna give you an art piece of footage that you can put on your reel, and like there's no amount of money in the world that can compensate for that. You know what I mean? And I'll give them a kick-ass action sequence. You know what I mean? Whereas you wouldn't get that in a studio setting, in a just as a SAG day player or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't get that standout thing that's going to make people take notice of you. You get the group ensemble piece, sure, that's very doable. But what about you? But again, it depends on what level people want to be and what they want to do in this business. Some people are happy just doing stunts, and taking shots. But a stuntman's life is short lived. You're only as good as your body lasts. You know what I mean? For me, I started as an actor, so I knew, my steely good looks as a young guy would get me places. But as I got older, I realized, wait a second, I'm getting older. There are a lot of other young people out here that look better than me. So what am I going to keep thinking I'm the lead man, good looking guy? No, I got to mature with everything else. So then I stopped concentrating on the younger roles and started, oh, I want to play the older cop. I want to play this, you know what I mean? Or now I don't want to do that. I just want to concentrate on directing and acting and things of that nature. You know, you got to constantly update yourself and upgrade yourself in that respect. So
My steely good looks never got me anywhere. I was always told I have a great face for motion capture, so that's the route I took.
but but you understand what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
just don't want these young guys to be in love with, I did a Marvel film, or I was in such and such, I was this and that. But if you're not talked about in the trades, you know, that was always a parameter for me. If I'm not on Entertainment Tonight, then I need to work. That's just simple as that, you know.